welcome back to another video. Today I'm talking about how well I think Itadori would do in Demon Slayer. Now, of course, this won't be a one. Well, if you transport Itadori post Sukuna into Demon Slayer, I would think he would do absolutely nothing in Demon Slayer. For example, he needs to have a lot of discipline and a lot of calmness when it comes to learning the sword, depending on his master. Now, of course, we know Rengoku, the Fire Hashira, his fire lineage just runs through the line of his family. Tanjiro, the Water Hashira, was trained by a specific master. So was the Thunder Hashira, and so on and so forth, as each individual Hashira swords match to their personalities, how fast they are, how energetic they are, how calm they are, and how they're so good at bending and angles. Mitsuri. So it goes in line to how well they are individually with their sword styles. So it has to go to who you think Itadori's master would be. Second, what breathing style would fit him the most, or could you just have him come up with his own breathing style? Of course, not everyone in Demon Slayer is good at swords. We know Genya necessarily is not good with a sword, so he's up in the Glock. Good for Genya, for real. I mean, I would do the same thing if I was in that verse, but I don't think up the Glock is Itadori's preferred measure. Of course, Itadori can use hands, but that's just not an effective thing in the Demon Slayer verse. He could throw hands all he wants. He would have the strength and the speed to keep up with almost any demon outside of the upper moons, even though he would even challenge the lower moons in some battles. It's just, he would have to have a way to kill them, and for instance, let's give him, since he has that personality of an upbeat, energetic, let's give him fire breathing. Let's have a little bit of fun. Let me just have a little bit of fun thinking about this. Let's give him fire breathing. Just for the point of fact, there is no fire breathing Hashira in the verse right now. So let's give Itadori that title. Within that, he would also ascertain getting the curse, the Demon Slayer mark, that will be explained in a different video. That would allow him to fight any upper moons at any level, which would also give him the boost to the strength and speed level of almost any Hashira outside of maybe the Sound Hashira, if he was ever able to realize his full potential before he, basically had all his limbs ripped off. So within that, how would he fight against Itadori's opponents? Well, first episode against Giyu, he would almost kill Giyu. I don't think he would have any problem with the Water Hashira, not gonna lie. Then when he goes to the Spider episodes, if he is well versed in the sword and the Fire Hashira and the fire training sword, he would beat the Spider. He would then not be able to take down Akaza. I just don't think he would be trained enough for that. Dang, who did Tanjiro face? Then Tanjiro, of course, faces the person in the Swordsmith village. I'm thinking that's one of the upper moons. That should be one of the upper moons. I can't think of the villain. He, of course, received help during those arcs, in which, is granted. The Demon Slayer, you have to have help. They're all humans in those fights. But if he respected the ones and they run the ones, I think Itadori would make it out that fight eventually. Now, he doesn't make it out the Infinity Castle. I know, since Tanjiro is main character, spoiler warning, we know what happens, right? He's the main character. We know what's going to happen. Since I'm not putting Itadori in that effective mode, he mostly dies in the Infinity Castle arc. He, of course, gets past Akaza, but once Muzan starts throwing meaningless and full-blooded attacks, I think he'll die in that little standstill moment that we see in the Infinity Castle War arc. Within that's kind of it. Maybe he would die to Akaza if that fight gets drawn out. Akaza almost killed Tanjiro anyway, but the sun was coming up. That's the only reason Akaza doesn't kill Tanjiro in that fight. Other than that, yeah, I think he would get to the same point as to what the show is. To the Infinity Castle arc, or even maybe before then, he may die in the Swordsmith village arc. But after that, Like maybe I'll give him to the Swordsmith Village arc, and then he would die. I'm not counting him as fodder. He would be well versed in the sword. He would have insane power, but since he would not have the plot armor of the MC around him, he would incredibly die. And Itadori, of course, sometimes is cold-blooded, sometimes he is calm and makes decisions, but we see how Itadori's mind can get ahead of him in battle, which inevitably is going to get you killed against the demons, as they do have human values at the end of their moments, just not during the heat of battle sometimes. Other than that, that's my thoughts. He does pretty good. He gets close to the end of the series. Swordsmith Village, I think that's as far as he would get in the show. He would lose to that upper moon. I just can't think of his name. It's rather Hiyoku, something with an H. But that's just my opinion. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And peace out. Also, who I think would do better between the two verses, Itadori or Tanjiro. If they swapped verses, I of course think Itadori would probably do better a little bit. But Tanjiro. Nah. Itadori would have more success in Demon Slayer than Tanjiro would in Jujutsu Kaisen if we swap them respectively. Of course, if you've seen the last video, you know what I'm talking about. This is a continuation from the last. I should have probably made it one video, but I needed a video for today. Anyway, like, subscribe, and I'll see you later.